Welcome back to another episode of Life by the Page. Today we have a fascinating guest joining us. Someone you've probably seen before in his iconic, question mark suits. Matthew Lesko, CEO and founder of the Lesko Health Platform. Uh, is here to talk about his decades of work making government grant information accessible to everyday Americans. Whether you know him from his infomercials or his YouTube channel with over 280K subscribers, Matthew has made it his mission to teach people how to tap into billions of dollars available through government programs. We're going to dive into his career, explore the criticism surrounding his work, and of course, talk about the opportunities out there in 2024. My first question I have for you, Matthew, it's a pleasure to
Huh?
have you on the show. Your career and brand are iconic thanks to the memorable question mark suit that you have here and high energy infomercials. What initially inspired you to focus on government grants and create your unique brand?
Greed. I wanted to make a living. And I was figuring out, I mean, I got an MBA in computers and and this is back in the 70s. I was a computer science and professor and teaching computer science and had a little software company that failed. My businesses were failing. Uh, and then I got into helping people get information. That was really what I wanted to do. This is back in the 70s, so anybody watching this probably can't relate to this. But there was no computer, to get information, and everybody was. If you ran a business, all you worried about was what's going on inside your business. You didn't worry about what's outside, and that's when I started going. And so I worked with rich companies, helping them get information. And I was in Washington. I was a Vietnam vet, and that's how I went to graduate school with a government money program. And then I was helping them get information about their competitors and the market and everything like that. And I was finding no matter what these millionaires asked me for information, I could get in Washington. I had no idea. I never knew anything about the government before I started this. I was just trying to get paid, and I was in Washington, so I'd look around here what they have. Oh, it surprised me, and I would able to get programs with money and information. And they would pay me thousands of dollars to get this stuff, and anybody could get it. And I said, why isn't everybody doing this? Rich people are lazy and they'll pay a lot of money for you to shine their shoes. Yeah. They could do it themselves, but they don't want to get shoe polish on their hands. And so they'll pay. And so and I grew that business to me and a desk to about 30 people down on K Street. And I wasn't happy. I didn't like working for rich people. And I just saw the need for this for the average person. So, how's the average person going to find out about this stuff? And I feel, well, books, but I flunked English in college. I'm not a book writer or any kind of like being on Mars. And but some agent found me and said she should write a book. So I did, and gosh, it was easy because what I did, I copied from the government. See, nothing in the government is copyrighted. So I found a book about all the government programs in the government, and then I just copied it and sent it to New York. They published it. It became a New York Times bestseller. I didn't write anything. I wrote the headlines. That's what it was. Yeah. But so it's how do I get this to the average person? So that was books, and that was very successful. But it wasn't
Sure.
effective. I mean, it sold millions because people got a big book, sort of like a big directory, and didn't know what to do. And it frustrated me. How do I get people really to understand how to use this resource? Because I see it like it's oil under the ground. I mean, this is information that is so important. It's money you could use and everything, but it's like it's under the ground. People don't know how to dig it out, you know, and take advantage of it. And books wasn't it. So the fat cats knew how to do it, and I charged them thousands of dollars to do it for them. But the people I want to help didn't have thousands of dollars, so they had 20, $30 for a book. Okay. But then they got a book and they didn't know what to do with it. And they were just big directories that would sell. And so now, though, with the internet, that changed everything.
Yeah,
And
man.
being
Yeah, sure. You've helped like many people understand how to access these like government resources. But like there were some critics like argue that your approach like oversimplifies the process. Like how do you respond to those who say government grants aren't as easily accessible
right.
as your work might suggest?
Yeah. No, you're right. And I do oversimplify it because I was a professor in computer science. And to teach anything to anybody, first I have to keep you awake. And so in a media culture, I mean, it's all about attention. And if I don't get your attention, I can't teach you anything. So yes, I do. I spend most of my day thinking about the headline because I got to fight, to get your attention. And so when I do that, then see, to me, I don't mind because even if people say I oversold, I'll give anybody their money back no matter what, when, or whatever. You don't have to sign anything that, if you don't do this, I don't have to pay you. I mean, that's crazy. That's stupid. And I hate websites that do that. So people in a hurry, so I don't mind. You try it, you don't like me or whatever, and you think we oversaw, I'll give you your money back. No questions asked. You don't even have to say why, because the important thing is to educate people and to get them to use this. And so if the way I have it isn't right for them, fine, I did something, and as long as I'm profitable. And this new version of me is so profitable that I'm able to give grants back. So we give out now $70,000 of our own grants. And we're a small little company. I mean, we just have a handful of people. We're not any big, but the profitability in electronic products is so much better than books. Man, to send out a $30 or $40 book, it cost me $35. Get the order. I have a call center. They call up, get the order, have to go to send out the book and all that kind of stuff. Man, here it's all air. I'm just selling air. And people put in their own orders. And so the profit has shocked me when I was doing this. So I figure I'm an old guy and I just want to do this for the rest of my life. I don't want yachts and boats and all that crap. So what we do is I give back profit to members. So they're paying me $20. So if we have profit that month, we give it back to members. And it's sort of like we give, and that winds up to $75,000 a month we give. Now, today, this is the 20th of the month when we're doing this. And so we have a deadline for our rent grant. So we're giving out $20,000. At the end of the day, you have to apply if you're a member. And we'll give out $20,000 to help people pay with rent grants, rent that. And all they have to write is one sentence, what they would do, why they needed money. One sentence, that's all they need. Yeah. And so yeah, to get people do that. And also, what I find that's happening now is, as an old guy, I'm 81 now, and I never even thought I'd live this long. Yep. But as you get
That's great,
older,
man.
I mean, you're a young guy or whatever, as young, you want to get stronger, you want to get faster, you want to get smarter. At 81, you're not going to get better at any of those things. All those things are going to start going downhill, not getting better. You're lucky if you can spend it. It won't even stay even. You're just trying to slow the slide down. But what you can get better at is loving. Yeah, your heart. That's one thing you could grow more no matter how old you are. That's one part of you that you could increase no matter what age you are. So that's my mission in life now is loving harder. And the membership now, we have like 15,000 people or whatever, that is trying to love each other. I mean, I got a wonderful letter from a member how another member showed her how to save like, I don't know, 10, $15,000 on her taxes. She got a refund. She didn't have to pay her. She owed the government 10, $15,000. This lady said, oh, you don't have to pay it by doing this. And they showed her how to do that, and they got it. I just got and that's a member helping a member, not me. I'm not. So that's the power of loving each other and the power of a community and things like that. I just got another person who's helping people too, a member helping member, got her $34,000 of rent money. The government wouldn't give it to her. She showed her how to write a letter to overturn the ruling. They said, no, you're not eligible. So she showed her how to write this letter to and she got it. She got the money. So $34,000. So one
Mm.
person, could help another person at $34,000. Wow. I mean, that's like curing cancer. I mean, the power that we have. And that's why I see this is power that's sitting there waiting to be tapped in. It's not like people think it is. See, we all have preconceived notions. Like all Americans are whatever, me, all South Africans or whatever, and so we have uh, the things about the government. All the government is whatever, because we hear one story, and it's just so stupid to live that way, but it's human. And so there, so and that's why I'm so happy I'm able to do this for so cheap, for $20. I mean, I just could charge 2,000. Everybody says I started. No, you have to charge 500 or 1,000 a month or whatever. I didn't want to be that. I want to be the $20 guy. And so we're doing the $20 and making a lot of profit. That is just the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And I've sold millions and millions of books and been on New York Times bestseller list twice and all kinds of stuff. And nothing is as satisfying as right now.
I mean,
And I
yeah,
just,
yeah,
yeah,
it's very very inspiring to see, man, that you're doing something you love. You're doing it for care, for humanity, and which your legacy is gonna live on for long because I mean you've spent over a decade sharing information on government programs, seeing so many you just I mean so many people are actually hooked by this thing and it's actually helping people get money
yeah,
from their
right.
backgrounds, poor backgrounds, whatever. And like have you noticed any significant changes in how government grants are distributed or types of resources available to Americans?
Uh, it changed. The programs come and go. There's a basic programs, but then other ones come and go. The pandemic was huge in government grants, and that's gone now. But that taught people, that was helpful for me because it showed more people how the government gives out money. See, so they were giving out, in stimulus grants, so everybody got $1,000. And so, nobody ever got a government grant. All of a sudden, they're giving me $1,000. Wow, So that sort of educated the market for me, because before that, it was so difficult to convince people that the government actually gives away free money. That everybody would say, "Oh no, that's just scams or whatever." It had a reason why it wasn't true. Because in our country, people think of the government as IRS, the post office, and the Division of Motor Vehicles. Yeah, that's the government. And see, but the rich people in this country know better. Elon Musk makes his fortune because of government money. Donald Trump made his first $1 million because of government money. Bezos, uses government money to start up his, Amazon and stuff like that. All the fat cats know this, and that's who I worked for initially because they knew it and knew the value of it. But then I found myself helping millionaires become billionaires. That wasn't fun. When
Why
there's so
was
many
it,
people,
man?
when there's so many people that really just need money to survive. You know what America is now? And I just saw this data, uh, but we create more millionaires and billionaires per capita than any other country in the world. Okay. So I mean, that sort of makes sense. You see all this money and stuff. But here's the other side of that. we per capita, we create more people in poverty than any other country except one. Costa Rica is number one. We're only number two in creating people in poverty. So we're creating more millionaires in the world and more people in poverty in the world. Yeah, but we're only number two, so we have to get up to number one. We can't. We got to get to number one again. America number one in creating people in poverty. So
Uh,
that's a bigger mission, I think, that we have to work on, not work on how many more millionaires we're going to create, how many more people we're going to get out of poverty. That's what interests me. People like China, they got billions of people out of poverty. You know, in a big sweep when you see it. Wow. I mean, look at they became the second largest economy in the world just in like 10 years or something like that. I mean, as a man, I don't want to do it their way, but it just what your mind is focused on. Um, yeah, it's that's what frustrates me, but it gives me, and also you're talking about, I think another thing in life is you have to have something bigger than you to work on. You know, and that's why to me my work is bigger than me. I'm not, because I'm feeding myself and everything, so I'm okay now. But you have to do that first. You have to be self-sufficient. I feel that you have to, and you have to do those shitty jobs. You do everything just to survive and get by in life. But ultimately, the ideal life to me is doing something that you feel is bigger than you, and also figuring out a way to get paid for it. So you can support yourself in doing it. And
Definitely.
that's really the key. And that's hard to do, and you have to struggle like hell to do it. And nobody has a guaranteed formula. So it's all about failing and trying, and because what works for somebody else probably won't work for you, but maybe a piece of that will, and it'll help you get further down the line in one way or another. And that's what we have to do in life. But everybody wants to not fail. Everybody wants those 7 steps to success, and they're different for all of us. Yeah, and we want to rely on experts, and experts know. And to me, the fallacy in experts is, everybody thinks that an expert, they're charging a lot of money, that they're worth it. You get what you pay for. That's bullshit, but we're convinced that it may be right. So we'll get money to pay to somebody. And so, and it may or may not be right. And most likely it won't be. And that's what we think. If they are, and see, the experts have to charge a lot of money, so they make you believe what they have will be successful. If they charge nothing, you won't think it'd be successful, right? Um, and I don't think how much they charge if they say, or actually, more importantly, they won't admit they're guessing. See, an expert has to make you believe they know the answer, when in fact they don't. They absolutely don't. They're guessing. Nobody knows the answer, but they can't go in and say, "Hey, this may work, may not work. I don't know. I'm guessing, but let's try this." No, they can't do that because they can't charge a lot of money for that. And there's something in our culture that prevents that. When that's the truth, it's sort of like I you know, like even on the things that you think are scientifically correct, like if you take the scientific studies that are in the national journals and say this does, well, only 67% of them are wrong, in their findings. They either can't be repeated or whatever. But we see it in the paper, it must be right or whatever. And then so we'll pay as much as possible for them. Yeah, because particularly if you don't have money. If you have money to blow, fuck it, do whatever you want. That's your money. But what happens when people want to do something, they're going to go to Google, and everything they find in Google is people that are going to charge you money because that's how Google gets paid and whatever. So like the programs I talk about, you'll never find in Google. They're in there, but they don't advertise to find you. So they're on page 89 or something like that, that you'll never find them. And they're not described in a way that makes sense for you. Like one of my best examples I've used since day one, the government has a program called the Urban Homesteading Act. And you read the small print, and it's really, they give out houses for $1. But when you go to Google, look for housing, urban homesteading. I go, I don't know. But if you saw houses for $1, see, that's what I put as the headline: houses for $1. The government puts Urban Homesteading Act, so nobody goes there. But somebody sees that house for $1, then they'll see it. Yeah, and that's another thing that stops people. And then people will read stuff in Google that will tell you how to be successful, and all that will be, oh, you have to buy this, you have to do that, and all that. And maybe that's one way, but if you have no money, that's not a good way. So you have to figure out another way. So people stop doing what they want to do because they don't have the money. I can't do that because I don't have an MBA, or I don't have $100,000 to buy a store. Well, now you can start a store for $5. You don't need it. Yeah, there's always options in life. And that's what I like about underdeveloped countries, is that they know that. I mean, you get two sticks and rub them together and make a business, and we're so sophisticated in America. We think we have to start a business. We need to raise $1 million to start it because we see Shark Tank or whatever. I think we need that money. That's crazy. You don't. You just need a customer to start a business. You don't need anything else.
Very interesting, man. We spoke about politics and like the economies and stuff that do. So I'm also interested in those conversations because I was actually listening to the Ugandan president talking about the exportation of the processed, unprocessed minerals from Uganda to like
Oh, right.
these big
Right.
countries. So they were actually getting less money in return compared to what they were actually getting in the side. Let's say like coffee, it's like the market size was like actually like almost greater than like almost maybe approximately 35 billion market cap. So they were actually getting as a country 800 million for coffee, but they were one of the major contributors to coffees. They are the producers to coffees and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to learn these things about the underdeveloped
Right.
countries and stuff. So it's very crucial information to actually get in hindsight of underdeveloped countries starting businesses. Do you require capital to start a business? I think you do in a way, but start a business, I think my mentor think you require some capital, but at the end of the day, you should start. You shouldn't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna keep on doing this," but at the end of the day,
Right.
you should start. Getting that customer, getting that sale done, closing that sales
That is
done.
true.
So it's very interesting, and I find you a very interesting character right now because you have so much wisdom. You've been around places. You've read so many books. You've read so many. You've been in conversations with the government. I'm sure about that. And sharing your wisdom with rich people. So another question I have for you is like you've amassed a huge following over the years. Can you share some success stories from individuals or businesses who benefited directly from your advice on securing grants?
Yes, I do that. It is, I mean, 50 years I've been doing this. And now I get more stories now because people buy the books, and I'd hear sort of the stories, but not like now. Like on our Facebook group, we have, and I'm getting on a Facebook because I hate Facebook. We have 400 stories like that of people, that got it. I mean, whether it's getting $10,000 to get a roof on your head, or fix up your roof, those kinds of things. I mean, that's a program in every state, but people don't know. And they'll go to Google, and all they find is contractors. When if they went to their government, it'd be doing, but then they don't know where to go in the government. Now, there's an interesting thing. Here's a place to go if you want to start to fix your roof. If you go to, this is only in the United States, okay? Findhelp.org. Findhelp.org. I mean, right now, I'll put that in here now. I'm going to go on my left, put it findhelp.org. Find help, Help. You have to know how to spell. That's the problem. And I had to put in my zip code. I'm going to put in my zip code is 20009. I'm going to put in my zip code. And now I'm going to put in home repair. Home repair. Okay. 223 organizations that have free money and help for people in my zip code for home repair. 223. I mean, people, I think, average with, oh, if there's one program, if there's two programs or whatever, it's sort of like if you're looking for a job and you went and, oh, there's a company and they're hiring. So I went up and asked them for a job and they said no. And then I said, I guess there's no jobs. And you go home. No, there's hundreds and hundreds of companies that are hiring, right? And so you have to get those, you have to get a list of those are hiring. So that's why this is not in Google. See, Google, it won't show you these. I mean, they're in, instead of just what did I say? 200 and stuff. What are the 200 that are just to help you? Every one of those. Now, they may not help you because of certain requirements, but now you have the fish in a barrel. Every one of those people do that. And it's more than one. And to find anything like finding a job, finding a customer, whatever, you just can't ask one person. And if they say no, conclude that you can't sell this or conclude that nobody's hiring. No, you have to go down the list because you got, 200 people that are trying to help people out there. So you have to find that match. And that's the key. And that's what we don't train people to do, that kind of research. Before with the internet, we believe that everything is easy, and before the internet, and I did research for that, I had to go to the library and I had to do research and read books and articles and magazines and things like that, to get information, to learn what the world may have for this. It's only by doing that kind of research. Here now we think we just go into Google, that does all the research. Yes, it does in a way, but this is capitalism. And capitalism's here to get your money. So if there's people out there, they're going to figure out how to use that and get money from you. And so that for the part of the country that has no money, they're left out, and that's a pity. And so it stops also from people to growing. You need an education. Yes, you can get that for free. You need a business, start a business. Yes, you can get that for free. You need help in figuring out the business. Yes, you can get that for free. But if you don't know about those sources, you're going to go to Google and you'll see lawyers and accountants and attorneys and all these people saying, oh, you have to be an LLC. You have to be this and you have to be all that kind of stuff, which none of that stuff that they say you need determines the success of your business. You concentrate on the things that are critical to your success. Being an LLC is not critical because you don't have any business. If the only time that's important when you have a customer that says, "Oh, I'll only give you money if you're an LLC," then you go become an LLC. Yeah? But why waste money? I'm not an LLC, and people give me lots of money. You don't have to, but again, that's what the experts are there to scare you that you have to do what they make money off of.
Yeah, my Zoom is about to cut off, so I'm gonna click off, and then we're gonna click back again, and then we're gonna continue the conversation
Okay,
because you see the
I'll
time.
wait.
Yeah, you get it. So we're gonna click off, and then
Yeah,
we're gonna click
I'll
back.
stay here. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, no
thanks, man.
problem.
Thank you.
The experts are out there to tell you what you need, and they have a part of it. There's always a reasonable explanation, but what you have to do in starting anything, all that stuff they said you need. That's what I got an MBA and they told me all these things I need to start a business, and I was doing it all. And after they failed, I said, well, who won? All the people I bought all this stuff from. And I had no money and no business. So that's why I say I'm not going to buy anything when I start a business until I get business, until I have money coming in. So you call experts, talk to experts about what you need to start a business. And oh yeah, you need marketing, you need the right furniture, you need the right business card, you need the right website, you need this, you need an LLC, you need health insurance, you need. That may be true, but it doesn't matter. It's not critical. The critical thing to your success is a customer. And that's right. People spend all this money on that, and then they go get customers, and it's not working. So you spend money on what's critical to your success. And in the beginning, the most critical thing is getting a customer. You could justify everything, and then these people that sell it, have 10 reasons why you need this stuff. But you have to look at you. And if you have a lot of money, screw it. I don't care. But people don't have money, they're going to run out of money a lot faster if you start spending on all that stuff that is not critical.
I mean, looking at the state of the economy today, particularly with inflation and other challenges, do you think the availability of these grants is increasing or becoming more restricted?
It grows every year.
Close over here.
Every year. It's
I mean,
baked in the system.
Americans are
This
very
is
lucky, I'll say.
exactly. I mean, something will, little changes here and there. Programs come and go, but basically it grows every year. And you see, our budget grows every year, our debt grows every year. I don't know when we're going to pay all this shit back, but it I mean, I don't say these programs are good or bad. I'm just saying that programs are real. And what frustrates me, there are people that could really use these programs who don't know about it.
Yeah, sure,
You don't
man.
think the program, yeah, if the program should be there, well, then get rid of them. Don't blame me for the programs. It's just that people are hurting and suffering, losing jobs, losing houses, losing no food. I mean, in the richest country in the world, and we have programs that do that. But it's like fixing your house. I just showed you what 200 programs or whatever it was for home repair. Wow, that's a lot. It's not one program. But it takes work, like anything. You're an entrepreneur or whatever. I mean, you just don't. Oh, I'm just going to do a podcast and I'll have 1 million customers. No. Yeah.
Doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And but you look at, if you're going to go Google and help for podcasts, you'll see people, yeah, I just did this and had 1 million customers. Yeah, I just did this and had 5 million customers. And yeah. So the marketing people, make you believe in those fantasies because we're looking for an answer. We don't know. We're scared as hell and don't know what we're doing. This is why I wear the question mark suit, tell you the truth. I want other people to know I'm scared as hell and I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And I think we're all that way. And we're faking it, and sometimes it works. Most of the times it doesn't. Yeah. I mean, I've written 100 books and only 10 made money. Yeah. So I know I I have data to prove I'm right 10% of the time. If that's why your heart. I used to wear question marks, but now I feel heart's more important, because if your heart's not in it, you're not going to stay there long enough to figure it out. And that's what it takes. Look all the idiots that are successful. My belief is that you have to build that and find out what works for you. So your heart has to be there. So no matter what happens, you're up in the morning again doing the same goddamn thing, trying to figure it out. Because if you go, you're going to get beat up. You're going to get stomped on. You're going to get all that stuff as part of being human. And the first time that happens, they, oh boy, I'm going to get a job and stop this. But no, that's why you have to find something. And what keeps you there a lot of times is if your project is bigger than you. You know what I mean? And so if it's bigger than you and you're doing something, that gives you that extra energy you need to keep going and figuring it out. Because it's all just about stamina. It's not creativity. It's not, I flunked, I couldn't get into anything, except jail, maybe. And never had grades, never had, but you're able to find a way. The world, at least in our country, is so big, and you don't need a million people. What's nice about the internet and everything, for a couple hundred people, you have a market and people feeding you. So find out what people need, give it to them, and you get good at it, and you get better at it. So more people will come to help, to seek your help. But you have to have that heart because the ups and downs, you're gonna have a lot of downs. So you have to be there when it's down. And so you're there when it goes up again. Everything's up and down.
Thank you, Mate. Lesko. Just so grasped so many wisdom and so many. It just I'm also learning it, and you have so much experience, and people shouldn't take you for granted. You're actually helping a massive people in humanity, and you're actually doing great for, and we actually appreciate that. Even if I'm in Africa, I'm actually inspired by you, and you're actually
Wow.
doing a great job, and just keep flourishing, keep fostering, and your legacy will always live on, man. And okay, just before we close up, lastly, I have just one more question. Which
Uh-huh.
is like with decades of like experience helping people navigate these opportunities, what do you see the as the like a future of government grants, and how do you keep plan to keep evolving your approach?
Yeah, well, they're going to keep growing, particularly here. When you have more problems, then the government, the elected officials try to solve their problems in the country by giving money. We're not running out of money, because we print it. Someday we will and won't be able to do that. But in the short term, it's just going to be different and it's going to move and it's a moving target where the money is. Right now, it's jobs, and people don't realize how much money there is in jobs and job training. You now in America can have just a high school degree, and they'll pay you $40,000 a year to get a technical skill to get $100,000 a year job. I mean, that's what we're giving. People don't realize that. I can't get it through people, and we're putting billions and billions and billions in that, but people don't get it yet. And so I got a lot of work to do. But back to what you said about my work. I mean, that is so special to hear. I mean, and it amazes me that somebody halfway across the world could say that
Right.
about my work because it's so government oriented in the United States. I had no idea. I mean, you opened my eyes to so much that how this is perceived, and if I was 30 years younger, I would be walking on water. Now my heart just goes higher. My heart gets bigger when you say that, because that's the only thing I could grow. But it's wonderful to hear. It's such a wonderful gift that you gave me today.